Welcome to Fantasy Kingdom. I'm your host, Mikey. That is Howie, and welcome to week
Yeah.
17, championship
Woo!
week.
Or not.
Man, did it go by quick this year.
You ain't kidding. This was probably the quickest season I can remember. You
Yeah.
know.
Last week we were talking about our fantasy championships, and I regret to inform those that are watching that I did not win.
Isn't that terrible? Now he's
and
got to settle for 4 instead of 5.
it was one of those things. Howie wakes me up in the morning, calls me and says, "Hey, do you want to come get the championship belt? You're crushing him." And it was the first quarter of the first game. And from there on, the guy just smashed me.
I jinxed him.
Yeah, you did. It was bad. Allen or Rogers? That's not even. That's a joke. It's Allen, 100%
For what?
all time. Fantasy did it. I'm so nervous about Neighbors toe injury, but the guy I can replace him with is Garrett Wilson.
Who's actually going to quarterback this week for the Giants? Is it Drew Lock or?
I think it's Lock.
I could have sworn he got hurt last week, and I was thinking, holy shit.
He gets hurt every week. That's part of the Drew Lock charm.
Yeah.
He can never stay healthy. Like every time he gets a shot, he gets hurt.
My dad sent me a credit card, a Christmas card, and said, well, I hope the Giants lose the rest of them so we get a good draft pick.
It's funny that you say that because they're like, you know what the Eagles are going to do next week? They're going to bench everybody so the Giants win because they're going to be locked into the 2 seed and just to make sure they don't get their quarterback in the future.
I'm okay with that. If see who they it's this week.
Boy, Tommy, you made it your championship.
Is it another one of those leagues that you put together just for yourself though?
McConkey touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, they're rolling on these guys. They intercepted one. They're yeah. Now what is it going to take for LA to make it into the playoffs? I know they're like one behind.
They're the 6th seed right now, so they win today. It's done.
Oh, okay.
I believe they're already in.
So the AFC is almost locked in.
If Denver wins this week against the Bengals, and they clinch as well. So both these teams just needed one win over the last 2 games.
Boy, it's been a long time since the AFC West had 3 people and 3 teams in.
Tommy, is that what you were expecting last week against the Patriots? Up 17-0? Because it was the other way around, and it was the Patriots that were up on the Bills 14-0 for most of the first half. It was bad. The Bills just didn't show up last week at all. They took a bye. It was so bad. You want to jump into last week's studs and duds?
Sure.
All righty. So let's start with the quarterbacks. You know who's at the top at 47? Your boy Jaden.
Yeah, he was.
He just had a day against the Eagles.
And people give him a hard time because, Hurts went out. Well, he wasn't playing against Hurts. He was playing against your Eagles' vaunted defense. So, neener.
Right. All right, Tommy, let's see what your team looks like. Love, Dodal, Ford, Brown, Chase, BTJ, Kraft, Dicker. Dodal was a fantastic find. He ended up having a really good second half of the year.
Yeah, I think they finally got their running back issues taken care of there in Dallas. But
how much you want to bet they drafted Genty out of Boise State? I don't think Dodal's their long-term back.
Well, we'll have to see about that with the draft.
Yeah,
I haven't even thought about that. I don't even know where Dallas drafts this year. I know it'll be early.
Yeah. Well, it's not final yet. There's 2 more games to go for some of these teams. Then we'll have an idea of where they draft. But we'll do a whole show about, about the draft, what teams need, all that fun stuff. So Jaden with 47, and then Goff with 34.7, and then Bryce Young with 32. Those were your studs. Our honorable mentions. We had Slinging Sammy Darnold, who's just everyone's been waiting for him to go into pumpkin watch all year, and it hasn't happened.
No,
he's about to get paid.
What are they going to do next year with McCarthy?
I have no idea. That's going to be one of the fun things to watch about the offseason this year.
Yeah, I thought about that. I think, man, McCarthy was supposed to be the guy, and boy, it didn't work out that way.
The actual draft show, normally Tommy and I do it, and Howie pops on with us, but we'll be doing fantasy drafts and things like throughout the off season, to where we'll be talking about fantasy, around draft season, after draft season, going into next year. We'll be starting a little bit earlier and doing more fantasy shows. So it's not just a season long thing.
I did the draft show first night of the draft show last year because Tommy was at the draft
for about 30 minutes, and then he's like, "Screw that!"
I thought about what the hell am I doing here?
Even I was like, "Yeah, this is not for me."
Tommy's no longer built for crowds and long-standing lines.
I'll be perfectly honest. I've watched the draft for years, and I've never once said, "Ooh, let me go be there. That looks like it'd be a lot of fun."
Let me go stand in a crowd and wait a half hour between guys.
Yeah, no, that does not look fun at all.
Yeah.
At all. So then we had Geno Smith and Joey B rounds out our honorable mentions for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Running backs, Jonathan Taylor finally decided to show up
and
just crapped all over my fantasy championship.
Yeah, he did. It helped me out, but it was for a nothing burger,
Right. Chuba at 32.5, and then went to IR this week.
Yeah.
So if anybody has him for the fantasy championship, sorry, he's gone. And Jonathan Brooks has gone behind him, so I'm not even sure who the running back is in Carolina.
Yeah, it was. I don't remember the guy's name, but you're not starting him anyway because you don't know him, and it's championship week.
Yep.
You're going with who you're dancing with who brung you right now.
Yeah.
There's nobody new I can give you, or Mike can give you for this week that's going to help you. Not really. I mean, somebody's going to come out of nowhere and make their name this week. It happens every year, and then you never hear from them again. So.
Yeah. Then someone will be chasing the dragon on him all year, all next year, and hoping he becomes something, and he's just not. Devon Achane, 31. And then our honorable mentions, we had James Cook, Saquon Barkley, and James Conner. Conner and Taylor's what ended up beating me. That, and then the late Joe Burrow touchdown last week where the guys jumped off sides and they decided not to, follow Jamar Chase down the sidelines.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
With like under 2 minutes left. Like all he was doing was killing the clock. But when that happened, how do you not throw the touchdown?
Yeah.
So it makes me hate Joe Burrow just a little bit more. That's all.
And what Mike's not telling you is the guy who beat him is the new guy in our league, too.
Yeah.
He's the newbie. I mean, we've been going
newbie that walked in, took over a team of a guy who was not very good. And
this was our 21st season.
Yeah.
Consecutive season. I mean, a lot of marriages don't go that long.
No. In fact, I picked McCaffrey with my first pick this season. Mistake. Do you think taking run back early is overrated in fantasy? I always take Allen first, no matter what.
No.
Is it overrated? No.
There's a dearth of wide receivers up there.
Mm-hmm.
And only, I'm trying to figure out who's the top 4 for next year. And the best I can come up with, and it's shaky, is Saquon, CMC,
Bijan,
and then what? Maybe Josh or
let's see. I'll tell you right now who.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of next tier running backs out there. I mean, because we're in a keeper league, so we suck up all the good guys anyway. But
yeah, so
in a redraft league, there's some good guys in the second and third tier, but there's only a few first tier guys.
So here's how ours worked out. Saquon led with 336. Derrick Henry was second, but he's a keeper. Jahmyr Gibbs was third. He's a keeper. And then Bijan. And then Achane, who I believe is a keeper.
Keeper.
Josh Jacobs. So Saquon, Bijan, Jacobs, and then Kamara.
Yeah.
But then you have that second tier guys of like Kyron Williams and James Conner and Cook and
Pacheco.
Yeah, Pacheco and Brown and those type of guys. So your top 4 really are in our league are Saquon, Bijan, CMC, and Jacobs. And you can Jacobs / Kamara.
Yeah. And the problem with that is you don't know, is Saquon at the peak of where he's going? Is he already made the turn down? I doubt it. But
he's crap load of freaking carries, man.
But CMC, look at CMC. You may pick him first again and get just screwed.
I wouldn't pick CMC coming off then. I would not be picking CMC 1. Now, would I pick him at 4? Possibly. At 1, no. What a catch. What a catch. Allen, first overall, is like taking a quarterback and running back in 1. Good strategy. Yeah.
It is.
Going back to this though, do you think taking a running back early is overrated? I don't think it's overrated, depending on where you're drafting. So, if one of those first 4 that we just talked about or 5 were there, I'd probably take the running back. Outside of that, I'm taking probably Josh too. Josh or Lamar. Because you get the running points, or Jaden, because Jaden got a ton of points this year.
Now there's a lot to be said for some of the wide receivers picking them in the first round, but there's so few running backs that you got to snag that top dog quick, and then hope somebody else comes and then be aware of the waiver wire, because then you pick up a Dowdle, or you pick up a Jonnu Smith. Or you pick up somebody nobody even thought of at draft. That's that week 2 and week 3 is when you really
Fords. Ford came in and did really well.
Ford and Brown were both drafted toward the end of our draft this last year.
Yeah,
because guys were like, God, what's left? And they went late, and
we don't even have. It's not even like a 12-team league. We have like an 8-team league, and we had people who were like, the backs were gone quick.
Yeah. They always do.
I just think wide receiver QB is more valuable in fantasy. It could be. The problem is if you have a disadvantage at running back, that could cost you. You better have a bigger advantage at quarterback and wide receiver if you're going to go that strategy. Yeah. If you can get one of the elite backs, you go and get one of the elite backs. If you can't, then now you're looking at it from a standpoint of, does it make sense to take an elite quarterback, wide receiver, versus the output of what the tier 2 running back is going to give you? Tier 1 running back, wide receiver versus tier 2 or tier 1 quarterback, wide receiver versus the output of a tier 2 back.
Right. And with your quarterbacks, it's different like that. Like Josh is probably tier 1 in numbers.
Josh, yeah.
And then there's got to be a drop off, but then there's a whole bunch of quarterbacks that are just fine.
So here's the way it was: Lamar at 524, Josh at 443, Joe Burrow at 443, Baker at 416. So the difference between Lamar and Josh and Burrow down to Baker is 30 points. That's like 2 points a week over the course of a season.
You got to look at what the talent is. I mean, quarterback going after Josh is great, but what do you miss out on when you could have got like 4th or 5th best quarterback and scored a better running back or wide receiver?
Yeah, so you're going to lose about 70 points going down from Josh to Jaden. Well, Josh hasn't played yet this week, so we don't know what his final total will be for the year. But that's what I'm saying. You're going to lose between 70 and 100 points between that. And if you break that over a 17-week, piece, you're looking at 3 or 4 points a week. Now, what's the difference between running back 5 and running back 15? Is it more than those 4 points? Because if it is, then it makes sense to take the back versus the quarterback.
And I always load up on wide receivers. I'll end up with 5 or 6 of them on my team, just because they go hot and cold, they get hurt easier. And if you've got a whole bunch of good wide receivers, which there are a ton of them out there, as your backup, that's great. And then you get you make sure you get like I got Daniels this year in round 7.
Yeah. Yeah,
I got Daniels and Caleb. Boom, boom. I had 2 picks next to each other, and I just took them both. And I got rid of Caleb.
Yeah. I had Caleb early in a couple leagues too, and he just never panned out this year.
No.
Yeah, no Allen, and Tommy made the championship. That's good for Tommy.
That's good.
All right, so let's hit the wide receiver studs. Justin Jefferson, surprise, surprise, at the top of the league. Keenan Allen, who's had a really strong second half of the year.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr., even with Mac throwing him the ball, he has just taken off.
Yeah, he's
over the last 4 or 5
moving
weeks.
up through the ranks for next year. That's for sure.
Yeah. Jameson Williams was an honorable mention. Deebo Samuel showed up finally. He caught the ball. And then JSN. Man, has JSN just put together a solid fantasy season this year.
Yeah, he has. Usually he's kind of the backup to DK. And
talking about the Bills players, Tommy said he drafted Shakir and Kincaid, and man, Kincaid was a dud. Kincaid wasn't actually a dud. He wasn't what everyone thought he was going to be. He actually had decent numbers for the most part this year.
Yeah.
He comes in like the top 10 of fantasy tight ends. But everyone was expecting him to be the number 1 in Buffalo. So, you kind of take what you get. All right. From a tight end standpoint, Brock Bowers, who was just come onto the scene as a rookie, as a fantasy monster. Chig Okonkwo at 19.1. Chiggy's had a great year, man. He really has. Too. Yeah, he is. And it's just underrated tight end, man. Mm-hmm. Kittle, who put up a really solid year in fantasy.
Yeah, considering all the problems with that team,
mm-hmm.
he was the guy.
Yeah. Honorable mention for tight ends was Schultz, Njoku, and Laporta. Laporta's kind of had a dud year for the expectations as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a sophomore slump, I think.
Yeah.
And that team, I mean, hey, good time to have a slump when the rest of your team is just rolling,
Mm-hmm. As long as he shows up in real life, playoffs, right? That's all we really care about. So since this is going to be our last show, Howie, I figured we would just kind of go through the studs of the year in each of these positions. We recently just talked about quarterback. So we had Jackson, so unless Josh just completely just goes off, Jackson is going to take the title for best quarterback this year. Probably. From a fantasy standpoint. He's had just an unbelievable season, Lamar.
Yeah.
So it goes Lamar, Josh, Burrow are the top 3. Then the honorable mentions aren't the guys who you would think. It's Mayfield, Daniels, and Goff from a fantasy standpoint.
Mayfield's the big surprise of the year, I think. Daniels was, expected rookie. Goff is like in a position where he should be scoring tons of points just because of his weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And but Mayfield's like, he's kind of been an also-ran, and boy, he come through the last 2 years. I mean, in the skills thing last year, he became a star, sort of,
Yeah,
he's very personable, and yeah,
he's always been super personable. It's why after being drafted number 1 overall in Cleveland and taking him to the playoffs, he got like all those commercials, and he was just all over the place.
Yeah, I think that screwed him up for a little while, and now he's got his head back on.
Yeah, he said it. He grew up. It tends to happen. Talking about just kind of guys coming out of nowhere. Sam Darnold just had a fantastic resurgence. He's top 10 quarterback in fantasy this year. Was expected to be the backup, the journeyman, the veteran in the room for a young kid. The kid goes down and he just takes the mantle and runs.
Yeah.
I'm going Jonnu. But although I don't want to say I'm going Jonnu because there's a good chance Tua doesn't play. And as of this morning, what came out is he's doubtful to play.
And Chig's got Jacksonville.
Yeah, so I'm probably going Chig. If Tua's playing, I'd go Jonnu. But knowing that there's a good chance Tua doesn't play, I'm going Chig. Your take?
No, I'm big on Chig.
Would you go Chig either way?
Yeah, just because let's see, Miami's playing Cleveland. That's a tough defense. I would go with Chig anyway for this game.
Okay, all right, I like that. So yeah, hats off to Sam, slinging Sammy Darnold. Running backs. Obviously this is kind of what you expected. Barkley, Henry, Gibbs are the three top. Man, Gibbs is just, considering he also shares time.
Yeah,
he has just been a stud. And although I did get a stud wide receiver, I may come to regret making that move and dealing it.
Well, it makes it easier for me to make my first pick next year because it's like I already have a stud in my pocket.
Yeah.
So, and heck, the way they're playing it, if I ended up with Jacobs at the beginning of next year, it'd be okay.
Have those two guys?
As bad as I did this year, losing all but one in the first half and starting second half bad, I finished 6 in a row. Got the consolation.
Yep.
So, and a lot of it was Love was hurt early, so that took Jacobs kind of out of things. Tua was hurt. That took Tyreek out, and Tyreek's been all year. Like I said, he had an appointment. Everybody. I mean, last year, he was voted the number one player. And this year, I don't know how the voting is going to go, but he ain't going to crack the top 50.
He might still crack the top 50 because of name recognition.
Well, name recognition, but if you just go by, I don't know what stats is.
The players vote on this. The players vote, and they go name recognition.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like he'll crack the top 50, but he shouldn't with how bad the season was for them.
It's going to be tough. Like in the past, people have picked him up in the first round.
Yeah.
Or early second round. And now next year, you got to look at yourself and go, really? Has he finally hit that tipping point? Like most wide receivers get really good in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a couple that have been anomalies and done good right away. But at what year do they kind of start falling off? Like Keenan, I think,
we'll get to the wide receivers in 1 second. Let me finish up the running backs, and we'll get to the wide receivers.
All right.
Bijan, Achane, and Jacobs round out the top 6, and then Kamara, Kyren, Connor, and Cook kind of round out your top 10. Wow. So it was it's kind of what you expected. I mean, outside of CMC, who went number 1 overall, it's kind of what you thought you would see in the first round, right? Was there anybody that was a surprise to you in that group?
No, I'm surprised at this point that Bijan did as well as he did because, boy, he did it quietly.
Yeah. Yeah, he 285 points so far. Like he still has this week to go. So he has a good chance of cracking 300 fantasy points this year.
Yeah, wow. Like I said, he did it really quietly. I'm glad to hear that too, because it takes a little pressure off those early picks next year.
Yep. Wide receivers, Chase led everybody with 358. He just kind of ran away with the wide receiver this year.
He could do no wrong.
Him and Burrow just had that connection from get-go.
Yeah.
Then Justin Jefferson, even though he missed some time, had a very strong season. He has 292 to this point, so he's going to break 300. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown at 3. I didn't realize he was so high, but I love it. You know what I mean? Because I made that deal, and I said it might come back to bite me, but if Amon-Ra is going to be 3 for me, then I'm good. Did they make the field goal?
They're talking about it.
Yeah, it looks like it went through. CeeDee Lamb, JSN at 5. JSN, man, he just had a solid season. He was number 5 fantasy guy this year.
That's good. I'm surprised CD did as well as he did. That just shows how talented CD is.
Right? He did it it didn't matter who his quarterback was.
Yeah.
CD also is done for the year, so you won't have him for your fantasy championship, but that just kind of sucks.
Oh, he's done. Oh, that's too bad. We got them in a couple days. In a week
yeah, he's they shut him down for the year with his shoulder. And then Terry McLaurin and Brian Robinson Jr., Garrett Wilson is kind of how it closed out.
Yeah. McLaurin finally got a quarterback.
Yeah, let's say McLaurin finally is living up to what his talent has been. Finding someone to throw him. BTJ was the best rookie receiver this year and has had a solid end. I wonder how much of that is most of the wide receivers are hurt there, so he's kind of like the single source.
Yeah, it did make a difference because Kirk has always been like one of the go-to guys.
Mm-hmm.
Him being down hurt.
Gabe done for the year is also somebody who, so it's been like a one-man show there.
Well, that's how you draft. It's like if you're going to draft a wide receiver off the Niners, you pick Debo because he's so versatile. And it doesn't matter how good the other guys are; they're all going to get hurt.
Don't pick Debo this year.
No,
he's
still the best. Besides Kittle, he's probably still the best football player on the team.
Yeah, I was surprised Garrett Wilson finishes a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. You wouldn't think that with how bad that offense has been.
Well, that's another thing about fantasy. If you pick guys from teams that are always winning, they don't necessarily are the highest scorers. You get guys from teams that are struggling and happen to chuck them all. They get stats.
Yeah. Then to finish out the top 10 is Drake London at 9. I never thought I'd see Drake London at 9. Right, and then Malik Neighbors at 10.
That's a tough one. London,
right?
I mean, as good as he is, everybody on Atlanta did it quietly this year.
Yeah,
Cousins was noisy when he was good, and then he was noisy when he was bad.
Right.
Yeah.
From a tight end perspective, Brock Bowers led all tight ends as a rookie. Then George Kittle, Trey McBride. Trey McBride had a quiet one this year. He has 0 touchdowns?
I was going to ask, did he catch a touchdown? No. They expected him to last week against Carolina, and that was like his best chance.
He has 92 catches on the year for 958 yards, but 0 touchdowns.
He could go for 1,100 catches and no touchdowns.
No touchdowns. That's crazy.
That'd be a stat to see.
Yeah, Travis Kelce ended up 4th this year.
That would be my chili pepper for this week if I was doing one.
Yeah.
I would go with McBride.
Go with McBride? Okay.
Come on, buddy.
Kelce ended up 4. Jonnu ended up 5. Jonnu had a good year.
Yeah, he did.
Resurgent year. Andrew ended up 6. Njoku 7. Kraft 8. Freiermuth 9. Hunter Henry 10. Laporta didn't even crack the top 10 this year.
Where did Gray come in? Because, man, he vultured a lot of shit from Kelce.
Okay, so he was 10, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He came in at 17.
Okay, that's pretty good because every time he caught the ball, you couldn't tell if it was him or
Here's
Kelce.
Who Gray was better than. Dalton Schultz, Mike Gesicki, Chig Okonkwo, Jake Ferguson, Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
But he did better than all those guys. And he's like 0.3 away from clipping Kyle Pitts. Just one of those things.
Beating Kyle Pitts isn't a big deal in the last few years.
Oh, here we go. 12-man PPR, two flex, wide receiver, running back, tight end. Okay, starters: Bo Nix, Henry, Spears, T. Be careful with T. T may not be playing.
Yeah,
he's a game time decision. Nico McBride, Robinson, Jonnu. Bench: Kyler, Dodo, Waddle, Devonta, McMillan. Just lost CD for the finals. Oh, losing CD kills. Okay. 2 flex. I would probably go Bo over Murray because of the matchup. He's got the bad Bengals defense.
Yeah.
I might swap Spears for Dodal.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Waddle's already been kind of and with Tua down, no. Devonta's hurt.
Yes, for Nico. T, I might flop T for Devonta.
Is Devonta playing?
Devonta Smith?
Didn't you tell me he was hurting?
No.
Okay. Maybe it was the other Devontae.
Devonta,
Devontae. Oh, there's okay.
Adams is hurting. Devonta Smith is just going to have Kenny Pickett as his quarterback.
Hmm.
But keep an eye. If T goes, you go with T. But if he doesn't, you may need to flip it. You may need to flip Devonta in there for him. I wouldn't go Waddle because Tua's doubtful.
McMillan's a sneaky bet.
I would take
With
Devonta
Baker.
Smith's upside over McMillan's upside.
Okay.
You know, I like McMillan, but McMillan is, mouth what, 5, 4, 5 there? Because you have Mike,
they're
you
Carolina.
have Cade, you have the running backs, and then you have, then you have Sterling Shepard there, who is going to get before, McMillan. McMillan's like, target 5. And you can't say, oh, well, they'll be Carolina, because Carolina's been really good the last
They have been
handful of weeks, man. They've been rough on people.
Good old Thielen. He's been producing.
We changing anything from my bench to my starters? Yeah, so that would be my guess. Spears out. Pollard got an ankle issue and the flu. my take is I don't trust them. You go with your gut. I would much rather go Dodal. Dodal's showed more. Who does?
And he's going to be like their only weapon with CD out. They got Jacksonville.
Yeah. You could throw on Jacksonville. I don't know. Like, they have a pretty good defensive line too. The Cowboys got the Eagles. So Dodal's probably not. Like, who are you going? You going Spears? Or you going Dodal with those two matchups?
I think I got to go Spears.
Okay.
If he's healthy, with Pollard out, that gives him all the carries.
I just don't have a super high floor, super high floor on him.
Spears is somebody that I would have tried to replace on the waiver wire a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Really, to be honest with you.
He's doing it for the championship too. So losing CD kills. Ouch. How did Nico do on Christmas? Did Nico do okay on Christmas?
I thought Nico was hurt.
Nico Collins?
No, wait a minute.
He played because they only scored 2 points. Let's see. What did Nico do? Oh, Nico had not real good. He had 3 for 59. Ouch. Yeah, so I might be looking Devonta over. If T goes, you want T. Otherwise, you want Devonta. Oh, here we go.
Well,
Dodo or Brian Robinson Jr.
Nico already went.
Yeah, on Christmas.
You can't change him out.
I know. I didn't say that. I just said how he did.
No, I just hit me.
Oh, that he'd already gone.
A lot of these changes have played already.
Some of these guys, yeah.
Henry played. Nico played.
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest of them have yet to play.
Oh, I forgot about Brian Robinson Jr. Would you go Brian Robinson? I'd keep Brian in.
I like him in there.
I'd go Robinson Jr. over Dodal. Dodal's got the Eagles, and I didn't realize they were playing the Eagles.
Yeah.
We
ran on the Eagles, but only because Daniels. He had a lot of yards, so our running backs did nothing against the Eagles.
And Cooper Rush ain't running on anybody.
No.
So I would leave it. The only one I'd be looking to truly change here would be Higgins if he doesn't go. Have Donta in your back pocket ready for him.
Yeah.
Who plays first, Higgins or Donta?
Cincinnati plays today. Next game.
Okay. So keep an eye on that. If T goes, yeah, he did. But Henry popped off, which helps. You're right. That's always helpful when Henry goes for 147 and a touchdown. And then also he made a couple catches, which is unusual for this guy. So I would go Brian Robinson over Dodal.
Yeah.
Although I love Dodal. I love, he's run so hard.
Dodal's got a hot hand right now, but it's the matchup.
And without CD, they can just stack the box.
Yeah. They got nobody to scare them outside,
You have what? You have Cooks and you have Turbin, right?
And I'm thinking, after losing last week, when they didn't think they should have. They might come back a little spicy this week. Dallas
yeah.
could be in for some trouble.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like that. You know. All right, so let me go back here. All right. So clicking on over. Hopefully that helped you. But really, the only one I would change would be the T if he doesn't play.
Right.
Just keep an eye on that because that's the next game. I love Jonnu. But Jonnu, do you have a backup tight end? Because Jonnu's going to be without.
Well, he's already got McBride in.
Yeah.
You got McBride and Jonnu. So one of them is going flex.
You know what? I might take Dodo and put Dodo in for Jonnu. Jonnu's going to have the backup quarterback. Last time they had a backup quarterback, they couldn't move the ball.
Yeah, got it. This is hard because I know he's going for the championship.
Yeah. What's up, Triggs?
We got to check out our mine and Triggs bet.
Yeah, we'll check on that.
Yeah, this is about as good as you get. But
would you keep Jonnu in?
If Tua plays,
Tua's not going to play. He's down. He's
not
going
to play
because he's doubtful.
Okay. Then doubtful means he's out. Yeah. Find who. See, Dowdle. I don't know.
Would you go Devonta or McMillan then?
I would go Devonta. If Devonta's playing, I would go him over.
If T's playing, take Devonta and stick him in for Jonnu.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's more powerful of a flex position anyway.
Okay, I like that. But at the end of the day, you got to go with gut. If you have a feeling Jonnu's going to do something, I just don't trust Miami's backup quarterbacks. If Tua was playing, I would absolutely say go with Jonnu because Tua and Jonnu have a really good connection. I know it's wild. It's an important game. They're in the playoff hunt and they lose, they're done. And Tua's hurt again.
Yeah, now Miami plays later in the day tomorrow. The big thing first thing you want to do is check that next game coming up for T. Because that's going to be here in an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
And that's the game. If he's playing, he's playing. If he's not, you got to make your move because if you leave T in there and he doesn't play,
That's funny, Tommy, that you picked him in a parlay because you told me how they were going to lose because they were going to be playing in the cold and against the Browns. Why would you pick them? All week you've been telling me how they're going to lose this game.
Parlay's a sucker bet anyway.
Stupid Dolphins. That's Dolphins 101 right there for you, man. All right, so the fantasy kickers, the top kickers. Boswell was the boss this week. This one,
yeah.
Then Aubrey and Fairbairn, Sanders and Lutz for the top 5. Dicker the kicker, Bates, McLaughlin, and Tucker round out the top 10.
Did somebody not close in on a 70-yarder last week? It was pretty close. Didn't Aubrey try one or?
Yeah, Aubrey's tried one a couple times this year.
Somebody tried one last week and it just fell short. But we're going to see one. We're going to see one here in the next year or two. Mm-hmm. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah. He's my wild card, remember? Stupid Tua. No, because of Winston. Oh, that's right. Because they benched Winston. That's why you went with Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they benched Winston. DTR has not played well.
Yeah.
If Winston was playing, I really thought the Browns could beat him. Good Winston. If good Winston showed up, right? What Winston do you get? All right, the top defenses to round this segment out. Denver was the top fantasy defense. Wouldn't have guessed that starting the year.
No, but they did good for me. I picked them up about halfway through the season.
Yeah. Denver, Minnesota, Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Houston, top 5. And man, if that Houston offense could do anything, they'd be good. But man, that defense is just being let down by that offense.
Well, they keep getting hurt. Everybody.
But they bragged in the preseason about how
depth
they had.
How deep they dug deep real quick. When Diggs going out early, that really put a crimp in them.
Yep, and then losing Tank Dell a couple weeks ago.
And then weren't they without Nico for a while, and even Joe was down for a little while. I think off and on.
Mixon and Nico were down throughout the year.
That's all it takes is a little.
But outside of Diggs and Dell, they still have all those other receivers, and they looked like they didn't even want to be playing on Christmas.
Yeah.
They scored 2 points. The defense is the only thing that scored. And say what you want about the Ravens defense, it's not a super vaunted defense.
It doesn't look like anybody else is going to get in that AFC. Low man are 9-6, and the guys in the hunt are all 7-8.
Yeah, so the one I can really see is if because the Broncos have the Bengals, who were part in this, trying to get in, and then they have to play Kansas City's backups.
Well, that could be the one that chink in the armor for that.
But
that division.
The Bengals
with their defense.
Yeah, the Bengals need Miami to lose. They need Indianapolis to lose as well, because both of them they both have the tiebreaker over the Bengals. So the Bengals need a lot of things to happen for them to get in.
Yeah, well, let's see. Cleveland, that could happen because the Jets got Indy and Cleveland's got Miami, and if Tua doesn't play, Cleveland could easily win that game. I will have to see. That's why they play the games.
Yep, it'll be interesting. That defense changed when they moved Hamilton back to safety. Yeah, but they also haven't played any high-powered offenses either. They played a banged-up Texans team. They played a banged-up Houston team or a Pittsburgh team. Like that Pittsburgh team on offense has looked horrible for about 4 weeks now. Yeah. Houston, if they weren't playing in the South, probably wouldn't make the playoffs.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then let's finish up the back half of the defenses: Seattle, the Chargers, KC, Philly. For having the number 1 ranked defense in the league, Philly doesn't really score a bunch of fantasy points.
No.
So that's kind of where everyone sat at the end for this year's fantasy scores. And our studs and duds for last week and for the season. So I thought they did well. Some of the guys who could be out, obviously we talked about Tua. We've talked about Devonta. We've talked about CD and a bunch of these guys. Other guys, Tyreek Hill's questionable. Zay Flowers, who's already played this week, but going into next week is banged up. James Conner's questionable, but he's looking like he could go. He had a full practice at the end of the week. J.K. Dobbins looks like, is he playing in this game?
Yeah.
So J.K.'s back. Isaac Guerrero is questionable with a hamstring, but he's gotten a few practices in this week, so it's looking better for him.
Who'd have thought at the beginning of the year when they scheduled Detroit and San Francisco on Monday night after Christmas that it would probably be a blowout.
Christian Watson is his true game time decision. They don't know what he's going to look like for Green Bay. Jalen Waddle was questionable, but it looks like he's going to go, but he doesn't have a quarterback. Trey Benson questionable with an ankle. Leggett questionable with a hip, but he looks like he's going to go. That's most of the big ones. They're saying Chris Olave is questionable. He may actually be back.
Wow.
I don't know why they would bring him back with, they're better off just shutting him down for his, this year.
Well, he might have
no Kamara.
He might have some contract issues where he needs to get X number of yards.
It's rookie. He's a rookie. There's none of that stuff in his rookie.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah. They don't put any of those accelerators in rookie contracts.
Okay.
That's usually your second contract when you get all those accelerators. Trying to get that money. So, all right.
I forgot I had him sitting there as a keeper. All year long I've been going, oh, I'm going to keep Chubb and da 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 da. And then I went, wait a minute. I got a Olave back in my pocket. I got to remember that one.
Yeah.
I mean, the one I might dump that people would think is freaky, it might be Tyreek.
Yeah.
Because I got
or you hold on to him and you deal him at the draft and then just keep 4 and get a draft pick.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I could do that. See if we can get somebody to bite on him.
I might bite on him.
I might
take Tyreek.
You and me and Steve are about the only ones who do any biting in this league.
I bet you Ballsack would be a trader.
He'd be thinking about it, yeah.
Like he made the deal and gave up his first rounder for Kelsey.
Well, I'm not going to trade a first rounder with the last pick in the league.
I don't.
Well, that would be nice though if I traded for the 8th pick, and then I got the 9th pick. Boom. That would be kind of nice. Oh, we'll see. I don't think he's going to fall for it though. This guy seems like he's a little less sucker than some of the other guys in the league.
Yep.
Maybe the new guy, Steve's brother.
Yeah, because we'll have a new guy that's coming on this year as well. So, all right. So let's do some sit starts. We'll start with Allen. Would you go Allen or would you go Daniels? Allen versus the Jets or Daniels versus Atlanta?
Pure fantasy points. I'm going to go with Daniels this week.
Of course you will.
Yeah.
Burrow or Mayfield?
Ooh, well, let's see. Burrow's got Denver. Tampa Bay has got
Carolina.
I'm gonna go with Mayfield.
All right. Darnold or Goff?
Are they playing? Oh, okay. Ooh, boy. Goff. Because Green Bay's tough, and they're playing it. Well, they're playing in the dome there, and they're playing in San Francisco, so playing conditions don't matter. I just think Detroit is gonna beat up on San Francisco. All right. So I'm gonna go Goff.
Knicks or Purdy? Chris Brown says Goff all day.
And Knicks against Cincinnati defense. Oh my God.
Card.
I gotta go with Kirk. I'm old school.
He's the original.
I was around for the original one, so
I would probably go Kirk over Picard too. Although I did like Picard.
Kirk got more women.
Yeah. Like I said, I'd probably go Kirk, but it's not a slight at Picard because I liked Picard.
Well, I do have Picard's hairstyle, so
yeah. All right. Purdy or Murray?
Purdy or Murray?
Mm-hmm.
Murray. Oh, Kyler. Kyler's in a tough. I'm gonna go. God dang it. Purdy ain't got nobody to throw to. I gotta go Kyler.
All right.
Love. McBride's gonna hit 10 and 1,000 and a touchdown.
I love it.
100 and a touchdown. 100, 1,000 and a touchdown.
All right. Will you go Love or are you going Stafford?
Ooh, that's a toughie. Minnesota's got a tough defense and they're at home, so I'm gonna go with Stafford against Arizona.
Rodgers or Penix Jr.?
Ooh, Rodgers got Indy. Okay, they're not gonna be able to run on him, but they can pass on him.
No, this week Rodgers got Buffalo.
I've got the Jets and Indy.
No, it's Buffalo and Indy this week.
Oh, wait a minute. I got the Jets playing twice. Who's playing Indy?
Who was playing Indy? Let me see.
Shit. The Giants?
Indy. Yeah, the Giants are playing Indy.
Okay, I just put.
So that's why you didn't. You had NYJ, not NYG.
I had NYJ twice, and I was like, wait a minute. And the bad part is they're right above each other. So
Rogers is history. Chris Brown's like, nope, not Rogers.
So Rogers or who?
Who did I say? Rogers or Penix Jr.?
Well, let's go with Penix Jr. because I have no clue what he's going to do.
All right, here's one for you. You're gonna like this: Kenny Pickett or Cooper Rush?
Oh.
They're playing each other.
Pickett. Rush ain't got anybody to throw to. Got a tight end and Dowdle.
Oh, going back to this guy's. He also has Madison available.
Well, now Madison is in a two guy with Amir Abdullah. Remember that. And Abdullah has been carrying the ball a lot lately.
Has he? Okay.
So that's just a thought, I mean, Madison.
But would you take Madison over? I'd probably still take the receivers if T goes. I'd still take the receivers over Jonnu.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I wouldn't put Madison's a solid, 8-10 points.
Floor guy. He's a solid floor guy.
He's a solid floor guy, but unless he scores a touchdown and gets a few passes, I would go with the receiver at your flex position because you're going to get that. I assume it's PPR.
Yeah, and I would go Spears and over that guy as a running back. So the only spot that I would put Madison would be flex if that's the case. But even then, I don't see him being better than what you currently have on your roster.
Right.
Okay. Let's flop it over to the running backs. You go in Taylor or Brown?
Taylor.
Yeah, I would miss CD too, brother. And that sucks for your championship. You lose him because he's been a monster.
He's big.
Year. He's been a monster all year.
People hate seeing him on the other side when they look at the lineup.
Right? He's been a monster all year long. You going Brown or Taylor?
Taylor.
Kyren or HN?
Kyren or HN? Well, HN gets a lot of his points off of catches. So without Tua, I'm going to go Kyren.
Okay. Irving or Jones Sr.?
Bucky or Jones Sr.?
Aaron Jones Sr.
Aaron Jones. Okay. Yep. Minnesota or what's the first one?
Bucky.
I'm going to go Bucky.
I like Bucky. Bucky's been good.
Well, Green Bay's got a pretty good run defense. So
Breece Hall or James Cook?
Breece.
Okay.
Because Buffalo can be run on. You guys know that.
Yep. Brian Thomas Jr. or Ford? Brian Robinson Jr. I don't know how you call him Thomas.
I know. I was thinking he's giving me a
Brian Robinson
Jr. I was going wide receiver, running back. That's kind of a weird one.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson or who?
Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. And good luck. Happy New Year's to you as well. And good luck in your championship game.
Win it.
Yep.
Okay, so Brian Robinson Jr. and who? Running backs?
Ford.
I'm going to go Robinson.
All right.
I'm not even sure what Atlanta's defense is like against the run.
Okay, I like that. Let's go here. Jacobs or Connor?
Jacobs. They got a groove going.
Okay, I like that too. White or Tracy?
White.
Okay. Spears or Kendre Miller? Miller's New Orleans.
Yeah, against God, New Orleans, Las Vegas. That's another one of those games that people are pissed off they bought tickets for. Kendre or who? Who's one?
What did I say? I said Spears or Miller.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Spears.
Okay, I like that.
I'm gonna go with Spears and hope our guy wins the Super Bowl.
Right. Here we go. Puka or St. Brown?
God dang, that's a toughie. I'm gonna go Puka.
Mike Evans or Brian Thomas Jr.?
Or against Tennessee. I'm gonna Evans. Evans gets a lot of red zones.
Mm-hmm. AJ or McLaurin?
I'm gonna go AJ.
All right. Sutton or Neighbors? Say Neighbors plays.
Okay.
It looks like he is.
Cincinnati's
trending
got
to play.
A porous defense, so I'm going to go with Sutton.
Touchdown McConkey.
Kick is good.
McConkey's good, man.
Well, that was a beautiful pass, though. Oh, my God.
Wasn't it?
Hit him in stride over the shoulder. Barely had to look. Shit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. London or Jennings?
London or Jennings?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's Niners.
Niners. You love Jennings.
I do. I you know what? In their situation, I think Jennings is the guy. Yeah.
All right. Addison or Cup?
Cup.
All right.
I think that Rams game is going to be a fun game to watch because they got to win.
Yeah. Wilson or Thielen?
Thielen.
Thielen.
I don't give a shit who you put him up against this week. I'm going
Thielen. Ridley or Debo?
Debo.
All right. Jameson, Jamo, or Devonta?
Jamo is more of a home run hitter.
Shakir or Reed?
I got to go with Shakir this week. Reed's total hit and miss.
All right.
You can't depend on him. Shakir, you can depend that he's going to throw it to him. You can't depend that he's going to make any points out of it. But Reed, you just don't know if he's going to get the ball.
Does it surprise you that our Lions fan Chris is in here saying "Go Jamo"? All right. McBride or Kittle?
Well, I got to ride with McBride. That's what I've been saying the whole show. So,
all right, Jonnu or Laporta?
Boy, that's an if. Tua plays Jonnu. If not,
expect
Laporta.
Tua not to play.
Then Laporta.
Okay. Hawkinson or Conco?
Hawkinson.
All right. Kraft or Ferguson?
God damn. I wish they didn't have so many mouths to feed on Green Bay. I'm going to go with Ferguson because he's got nobody else to throw to.
Even with the 15 penalties. Go Jamo. All right. Kincaid or Pitts?
Kincaid. I would never pick Pitts. And he's going to be my downfall someday.
All right. That's going to wrap up our sit start for the last one for this year. Let's jump into the closing around this. Obviously, we have no pepper challenge. You had a hot pepper challenge last week. You had Harrison 80 and a touchdown.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get anything last week. I mean, I keep giving these guys lower and lower bars, and they find ways not to jump over them.
Right?
Bastards.
Right? X Factor, you did win.
I think I won that big.
You won that big. Ford beat Brown, Thielen beat Harrison, and you had the under on the 48. You won all three.
That I didn't realize. I knew that was the tiebreaker, and I thought I was going to get killed on that one.
Because we won 24-21.
Yeah, I thought that game would be in the 30s somehow. That's been a long time since you guys haven't scored 30 or more.
Yeah, so, first time in 9 games.
Yeah. That could be the beginning of the downfall.
Oh, stop it.
What were we talking about earlier? How about, when you lost your championship this year, you got second place? And I said
don't go there. Don't go there.
I said that I would bring that up to the fans, how that, being a Bills fans, are used to second place.
Listen, dude.
Come on, guys. Where are you?
Shut the pie hole.
Oh, my God. I mean, granted, my team's going to make it to the playoffs, but I'll tell you what, if we win the Super Bowl, I'll eat 2 habaneros.
That's not going to happen. You guys ain't winning the Super Bowl. Stop it.
Actually, if we win the Super Bowl, you guys aren't even going to want to hear me next year. It's
but bad enough about that because you're not winning the Super Bowl.
It's bad enough that I already called it on 9.
Oh, Chris Brown, Detroit versus Washington conference championship. It'd be too easy, baby.
Yeah, I don't even want that. Believe me, Chris, I agree with you on that one. You're the last team I want to see in the playoffs. I already figured we could beat whoever they bring us from the NFC South. I think we can beat anybody from NFC West. When it comes to the AFC or,
the powerhouses and
NFC.
Well,
I didn't think we could beat the Eagles. And boom. So you never know. Yeah. With a guy like Daniels and decent players. See, last week our running game was terrible. Terrible. I don't think Robinson got 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was an all-in type of game. So, no, I'm not. Believe me, I'm not. The Bills, I think, in Detroit, I'd like to see them in the Super Bowl.
The Bills, Detroit.
That would be a good game.
I'd love that Super Bowl.
That would be a really
mainly
good
because
game.
I couldn't even if Detroit beat Buffalo, we had a new a fan base who understands what we are going through. I would love to see that Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'd like to see that one more so than Kansas City or Baltimore. I just it's time for somebody. As long as we beat,
Green Bay.
With Green Bay, they got so many mouths to feed. If they hadn't have found their running game, I would say we could beat them. But I don't think we can beat that running game. Right now, they are hot. I mean, the line has been with them. I think it's the same line.
You'll see how good they are shortly, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, they got Minnesota coming up tomorrow. So.
Yeah, tomorrow. So you're going to see how good they truly are. Are they beating up on bad teams or are they good? We're about to find out.
Well, that's what I don't know. I can't even tell you what my team is, if it's a good team or bad team. We have a great quarterback.
Yeah.
And our defense is coming along, and we have some good receivers. Oh, and I don't know if you guys can pick up guys still in your leagues, but if I had a deep digger to pull out of my butt, it would be, how do you pronounce his name? Olamides Zacharias for Washington.
Yeah.
He's the number 2 to McLaurin there because Noah Brown's been hurt. And Zacharias, it's like every other pass, it's like, ooh. I mean, it's a tough one to pronounce, but you never know.
For as pretty as that touchdown throw was, he just had it again and he missed him.
Yeah.
Hi. Go Pack tomorrow. I bet you want the Pack to win. Clinch it, tomorrow before they even play. That'd be beautiful, wouldn't it? All right, Howie. As we close out this season, any final thoughts before we head out of here?
Well, I think next year we need to hold ourselves a little more accountable and write down our predictions.
Okay.
Like sit start and stuff like that. Just as we do it, write it down and see how our percentages are.
All right, we can do that.
Kind of put a See if we're
giving out good advice or not.
See if we're any good. And for all our loyal listeners, I want to find out how many championships we won, because I'm taking credit for some of that.
No, T isn't a safe play. You have to wait to see if he's going to be in the lineup.
And you should know that in the next hour.
Decision. Yeah.
You should know
Although
that.
I love Thielen anyways.
Man, I do. He's the guy now, and Legette's out. So
no, he's questionable. He might go.
Okay, well then all they got left is Moore. And so Thielen's the guy, and I don't know. I love Thielen.
I might go Thielen too. Just because Higgins is going to be playing banged up, and even if he plays, there's no guarantee he finishes the game.
Yeah,
I might go Thielen as a straight play over him.
And Carolina's looking to play spoiler if they can. I'm sure.
Yep, I'll absolutely say hi to Tommy. Tommy's in the chat. It's Mafia Sports Report.
There he is.
Dicker the Kicker so far has given me 12 today. Yes.
Well, it's 30-7. Heck yeah.
Yeah. Should have been 34-7, but he missed a wide open McConkey. Went through a high. But it happens. It happens. Okay, yeah, we will absolutely do that next year.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for riding with us this season. It's been fun. Hopefully some of the advice we've given you has paid off. We really do hope for that. And you guys win some championships, because neither one of us have won. Although I am in a championship right now.
That's true.
Against my brother.
And next year the belt's coming back to the chair.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
I'm going for the gauntlet.
It ain't happening.
That's right.
I will sell my entire team to somebody to make sure you don't win it. All right. Thanks all. For Howie, I'm Mikey, and we're out of here.
Peace.